It's time to break down some football.
We got to get our mind right. Touchdown, win.
From the perspective of guys who played in the NFL.
Caught, touchdown!
And a guy who had one really great sack in high school.
Oh, you're so weak. You're a waste of my time.
Greg Camarillo and Marcus McNeil are the pros. And Skraby is the Joe.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Two Pros and a Joe starts right now.
One of my favorite times of the year and day and favorite time of the week is Two Pros and a Joe. I am joined by my guys, Greg Camarillo, Marcus McNeil. We are back for another episode of Two Pros and a Joe. Thomas and I did a few episodes about the draft, about some of the other things. But the last episode that we all did together was the one with Jason Campbell, who came on the show. So, again, Thank you, Jason Campbell, for coming on. That was awesome. We got a lot of good things that came out of that, including stories from the huddle. And we also just got the back and forth between Marcus and Jason. So that was great. But today we're going to talk about some of the other news stories that are happening in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, what's going to happen with him and the Packers. A guy named Tim Tebow. I didn't know he still played football, but he is playing football now. We're also going to
play football. We'll get to it.
We will get to it. We'll also talk about players that are injured away from the facility. Kind of want to get your guys' opinion on that, being a part of the NFLPA at some point in your career and knowing how all that stuff works. And then just quickly talking about the 17 regular season games that are going to be happening this season. And then whatever else we want to do tonight here on Two Pros and a Joe. If you want to follow us, you can at the number 2 Pros and a Joe on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Catch Camarillo for Greg, at Marcus McNeil 73 for Marcus, at Matt Skraby for me, and at Odd Thomas 71 for our guy Thomas. Now, since we haven't done this in a while, let's reset. Who are we? Well, Greg, you're an 8-year NFL veteran with the Chargers, Dolphins, Saints, and Vikings playing wide receiver. Marcus, you played for 6 years with the Chargers at left tackle. You protected Phillip Rivers' blindside. And me, Skraby, one big-time sack in high school. One big-time
sack in high school. That's what Skraby's known for.
I did actually have someone reach out after one of these episodes. And, wait, what did you say?
Oh, nothing, Skraby, nothing.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen for that because I wasn't aware of what just was said.
I gave you credit for the biggest sack in high school.
Oh, you think I have a big sack?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Said nothing of the sort. Look at that. A little break and we jump right back in form long.
The only person with a big sack is Tom Brady. We know that.
God damn.
Why does it always come back to the penis with me?
Mac was out of shape. He spent a couple weeks away from you, Scrabes, and he's out of shape.
Well, okay.
That's you. You're killing me right now. Whoa, Greg. Calm down.
Well, I have something to look forward to when I go and edit tonight.
I'm so happy to say that.
Speaking of large sacks and the cojones that it takes to tell your employer to F off, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, Aaron Rodgers is basically saying to the Packers, I don't want to play for you anymore, and I'm willing to not play football anymore. I don't know how far he's willing to go for that, but Greg, you brought it up. What are your quick thoughts about Aaron Rodgers, and then we'll branch out from there.
I love it. He's the commodity.
You love it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, and I look at Russell Wilson, and I look at Deshaun Watson prior to these allegations. These dudes are the commodity. They have the talent. They are what a team needs. Exercise that power, flex that power. If you're not happy with your team drafting a quarterback in the first round when you already have a team that can get to the Super Bowl, be mad. Threaten. I'm not going to play. Get me some help. Or if they don't get you help, leave. But I honestly don't think they're going to trade him. I don't think somebody's going to pony up enough draft picks. And I also don't think he's going to retire. So I think he'll end up playing and they'll figure out a way to mend that relationship. But I love to see Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson flexing that power because players are just now getting that power and it's time to flex your muscles.
I like where you're going with it, Greg. But it's starting to seem like the NFL and the NBA are on the same note because the NBA for the last few years, I've seen a few guys flex their muscles to where it's like, whoa, like this is something different. So, you start balancing the power a little bit because you know that the talent and the people come to see these guys. That's why they put the fans in the seats and you have these big TV deals is because you have these players who are just extraordinary and everybody wants to come see them. So, like, flex your muscles a little bit. But I did say a while ago, if they did it to Brett Favre, they will do it to your
You
ass.
did. You did.
I was trying to tell you, nobody big enough for Green Bay. You got a whole town dedicated to that team right there.
Yep.
I'm talking about it's nothing else but the Green Bay Packers up there. So nothing's ever going to be bigger than the Green Bay Packers, regardless if it's Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, or the next quarterback that comes in. They're going to do what they think is best for their franchise. So, I like to see the way it's going to play out.
To quote Marcus, in episode 12, this was the title of the episode. If they did it to Brett, you know where to place your bet.
Yeah, there you go.
So if we want to go back to that, episode 12, we talked about Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, probably after the NFC Championship game where they kicked the field goal and everything like that. I get what you guys are saying, but as a fan, if I just take off my radio guy hat and go as a fan, it really bothers me that a guy making the money that he's making is making such a big deal about it and is just so angry about it. And I understand that Aaron Rodgers has every right to do this, but at the same time, you're ripping fans' hearts out. You are. And I know that it's your organization, but that's where the business and the actual love of the game separates, because he does not care about the fans, and nor does he need to care about the fans. But
So I'll counter that from the player side and say that it's the GM that doesn't care about the fans, because if the GM cared about the fans and he knew his team was close to a Super Bowl, you get your MVP quarterback some help. So I'll place the blame on the GM. If they hadn't drafted Jordan Love last year in the first round, I don't think Aaron Rodgers would have gone this far. So I blame the GM for not caring about the fans. And that is not Aaron's fault. Aaron's doing everything he can. He played last year. But at this point, I blame the GM for not keeping the fans happy.
Hey, the players love the fans. Let's start there. We need the fans. Like that's what we play for. When we come out there and play on Sunday, you playing for the fans. Third down hit, you know which way it's going based off the way the stadium's rocking. So it's never a point where Aaron Rodgers not going to care about the people he going out of the play for. How many times he done stopped and signed that autograph for that little boy?
Never.
Come on.
He signed that discount double check though.
That's against the rules. So I know you're lying there. You can't even do that. You're going to get fined.
For what? Not signing the kid's autograph?
Yeah. At the end of practice, when it's your day to sign autographs, guess what? That's your day to sit out there and sign autographs. You can sit there and be mad because you're hot and sweaty if you want to, or you can sit there and enjoy the people that are paying good money to come see you play a game that you love.
All right. All right. You guys swayed me a little bit, but at the same time, how can I, as the fan, get behind Aaron Rodgers? He hates my team now, and I put my blood, sweat, and tears into the Packers. I own part of the Packers. I'm a season ticket holder. Aaron Rodgers doesn't want us anymore, and that hurts. That hurts. So what do we do?
Yeah, you either send him packing, or you know what fans do? As soon as you win 2 games, fans love you right back. And that's cool. That's all right. You lose, no problem. You win, everything's fixed. So he's either going to be on a new team or he's going to keep winning, and it'll work itself out.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, to me, he's been that guy long enough up there that they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to make it happen. They're going to have to make it happen. But he is still one of the best quarterbacks. So his worth, to me, speaks for itself, but when you put the fans into a Skraby, I'm a fan guy, so I'm never going to go against them. You know what I mean? I know it sucks, and sometimes the game sucks, you know what I mean? The thing we grew up loving, the things that the game we grew up playing with our brothers, the blood, the sweat, the tears, making no money for it at first. Mm-hmm. that's what we started off the game for.
Yeah.
But then when you graduate to playing professionally, now you have to put your, business in it as well. And not all the times does that mesh up well.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And I really kind of want to see the Packers call his bluff and say, all right, retire. Do it. Please go for it. And I think Aaron Rodgers is crazy enough to retire. I really think he is. You don't think so, Greg?
Oh, man. At that age, you can't lose a year. So you can't do who did this? Le'Veon Bell. You can't say, oh, I'm just going to sit out a year and then play again next year. At his age, if you still have that fire to play, you don't have any time to waste. So at the end of the day, if they call his bluff, I think he's going to stay on the Packers and play.
All right. Okay. You guys, you heard it here first, everyone. He's going to stay on the Packers and he's going to play. Now, Shailene Woodley, what's she going to say about him staying on the Packers? You know, now that they're engaged or I think they're almost married now at this point. But everybody's saying Shailene Woodley got into his ear. Do you guys know this?
I don't even know who Shailene Woodley is. So.
She's an actress, now his fiance.
This is a football podcast, not E-News.
Have you ever seen the movie Snowden? She's in Snowden. She is the girlfriend of Edward Snowden in the movie Snowden. She's also in anyway, we'll skip it. Aaron Rodgers is doing his own thing. You know, I like to keep up on everything.
In Green Bay.
Yeah. Oh, hell.
See, been working that for weeks.
I like to keep up to date on everything. I read Us Weekly and I read Sports Illustrated. Okay.
Yeah, you're a radio guy. You need it.
Way to keep it well-rounded, Skraby.
Thanks, Marcus. Thank you. Someone else who could have the potential of being well-rounded after all the time off is Tim Tebow. But, you know, he chased his base. Greg, when we texted about doing this episode, Greg was like immediately on it. Like, we need to talk about Tebow. We need to, because he's being brought in by Urban Meyer, his former coach at Florida, who's now the head coach of the Jaguars. But he is being brought in to play tight end for the Jaguars. And he's a quarterback. He refused to play quarterback for play tight end for many years. He wanted to be a quarterback. And I could just see this being a very, very slippery slope for Urban Meyer to bring this guy in. I've already seen a few tweets out there from players saying, all right, I can't wait until we go to Jacksonville and we play this team, because I am going to make Tim Tebow wish he never came back and played in the NFL again. What do you think, Marcus? Would this cause a problem for you?
I saw Bart Scott earlier this week had some comments about it, and he went snapping on him. And I can understand where he was coming from, because at this point in time, you're sitting here wondering, like, why is he still getting the shot? You know, why is he still getting the shot? But I'm not going against Tim Tebow, and you know why? Because he loves Jesus. All right? He absolutely loves him. And a person like that always got the Lord on his side. So he always ends up in the best situations, you know, and I'm sticking with him. I'm going to stick with Tim Tebow. I know y'all don't like him, so we can go back and forth on him.
I mean, I'm indifferent, but I'll wait for Greg to say something.
Go ahead, Greg.
I mean, I was ready to come out here and drop all kind of F-bombs. Marcus,
you can still do it.
Well, then what in the fucking? Come on, Marcus. Come on, man. Oh, Marcus slapped the Jesus card out there on us.
Yeah, it takes the wind out of your sails.
If that's the case, then the Vatican's football team would be the best team in the world. Man. So, all right, where do I even start with this one? Let me just start out so I don't have to be a full and complete hater. He's one of the best college football players ever in the history of college football. So let me recognize that. That is the end of it. He is not a good NFL player, never was a good NFL player. Yes, he won a playoff game. Good for him. He could not throw the ball well at any point. How in the world does this man spend 7 years out of the NFL and come back and change positions? That if I was a tight end, I would be insulted that you could take a man that never played tight end, spent 7 years on playing baseball, and then say you're gonna come play my position in the NFL. I understand.
You know he can catch.
Man, catching a little white ball with a glove is a lot easier than catching a football with two hands. And I'm glad he can't play tight end. It's not going to happen. You cannot just suddenly play tight end. No, it's not going to work. I 100% understand the marketing aspect of it. Tebow is a god in Florida. He is a god to football. He is a god with Urban Meyer. It is going to attract people. It is going to attract attention. It is going to attract money. He is not going to see the field as a tight end. I'd be surprised if he even makes the roster. If he does make the roster, it's a marketing move, and they'll just keep him around to sign those autographs that Aaron Rodgers is not signing.
I'm not gonna just sit here and talk shit with you, but just to make myself feel better, because I'm gonna have to eat that shit later on. All right.
All right.
I'm gonna say it's a stretch for him to come in and play tight end in the NFL. It's a stretch, but you did point out the reasons why I would do it, right?
I get it. I get the move, but it's absurd. Absolutely absurd.
Yeah, it would be like just bringing someone in off the street who used to do your job but doesn't do your job anymore, and then they're like, hey, we're gonna pay him and he's gonna get the opportunities that you want but you don't get, because now he's going to fill your opportunities. That was a very confusing example, but it was, I think you guys know where I'm going for. It would be very disappointing to me if I'm a tight end on the Jacksonville Jaguars and I'm like, really? Now this guy is going to be fighting for a roster spot. It has nothing to do about Tim Tebow, the person. It has all to do about the circumstances surrounding Tim Tebow being an NFL player again.
Yeah. And kind of going off of your situation as a player in a locker room, you're never mad at somebody else for being in that locker room. They're getting an opportunity just like you're getting an opportunity. So it's not as though it's ever going to cause a rift on the team. But just from an outsider's perspective, I find it absolutely absurd that he's getting a shot to play in the NFL after all this break at a new position.
I mean,
he's been there though. He's been there.
Where?
He's been commentating. Right.
Well, he played baseball for like 4 years.
Shaq gonna come back and play center?
No, but
that would be Shaq gonna come back and play point guard.
Jason Witten came back out the booth
after 1 year and played the same position that he was already in the Hall of Fame career for.
Gronk came back,
a Hall of Famer at the same position.
All I'm saying is, as long as you stay in it, you still have that love and passion for it.
No, stop it.
Hey, I've seen worse, and Trevor Lawrence is a fucking beast now.
He is a monster. We'll just bookmark this one, Skraby. We're going to come right back to this one right here.
Okay.
Revisit it in 6 months.
Yeah, because, I forgot about Trevor Lawrence for a second. I mean, they're pretty much printing money down in Jacksonville with just what they did in the offseason to bring in eyeballs and to bring in fans and all that stuff. But if I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar player, I'm like snickering behind Tim Tebow's back, and that's just who I am. I'm a snickerer.
Hey,
I snicker.
You like to snicker.
I like to snicker. You were talking about how, I'm never mad at anyone for being in this room with me. I'll be mad if someone comes in the room. I don't want any more competition that I have to worry about. I just want the guy. I want to walk in the room. No, I got 3 guys ahead of me, and those are the 3 guys I got to beat. Now I got Tim Tebow coming on, and he's showing up to practice in his Mets gear, confusing what sport he's playing. Like, come on.
Hey, I want to build off of what Marcus said. That's going to transition us to our next topic, though. He talked about the love of the game, and if Tebow still has the love of the game. So towards the end of my career, I started losing the love of the game. It just became a job. And what I came down,
I'm sorry. Why?
So that's where I'm going with this.
Okay.
It's because I never felt part of a team after leaving Miami, because I was traded at the end of a preseason and went straight to Minnesota, spent no offseason time, didn't build any relationships, was just there to play football. The next season was the lockout. So I spent my entire time in Miami working out on my own, was in great shape, but built no relationships with the team, with the coaches, just went to go play a job. My final year, I was a free agent and didn't get picked up till the end of training camp, spent no time in the offseason with the Saints. And it kind of killed my love for playing football because I felt zero connection. I didn't really care how well we did as a team. Of course, I wanted to win, but it didn't really affect me as much when we lost. And so this transitions us to the topic of the players being told by the NFLPA to stay away from their facility this season for, and I'm putting up air quotes, COVID-related safety, when in reality, I believe it is an opportunity for them to try to prove that the offseason doesn't matter. Teams don't need control of you in the offseason, and the preseason doesn't matter, because last year proved that, and they're really trying to prove it again this year.
That's pretty interesting. Marcus, what do you got? Because this is all NFL Players Association stuff. Basically, do you want to get into what happened with Juwan James, or you just want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, fill us in, Scrapes.
All right, so the Broncos cut offensive tackle Juwan James last week after he tore his Achilles working out away from the facility, and due to the kind of contract stipulations and language, he's no longer the Broncos are no longer obligated to pay him the remaining $10 million in guarantees on his contract, and they're not going to. They are off the hook for an additional $5 million in injury guarantees for next season. So basically what's happening is he was working out under his with his guys outside of the facility. He tore his Achilles, and now they're like, sorry, you're done. We're not going to have you on the team anymore. We're going to cut all your money out of it and everything like that. It was so big that Patrick Mahomes tweeted, so they are going to take his contract for working out in the offseason. It's a big mess. But what I did read earlier today is that the NFLPA and the NFL, they negotiated this before when they did the new CBA. So this is something that was agreed upon, and that's what's happening right now. And a lot of players are like, I don't even want to work out outside of my facility anymore, because if I get hurt, I'm out in the streets. They're not going to pay me. And it's bad stuff. Juwan James also tweeted directly at the union. He said, at NFLPA, if you're going to advise all of us, we need you to have our backs on the other end of this, because NFLPA is just kind of like, this is it. You know, we agreed upon this. So as former players, how do you guys feel about this? And what do you think is going to happen with all of this? Let's start with you, Marcus.
It sucks. It sucks. This is the worst part of it. But I'm married to a lawyer, so I understand. I understand what's going on. You know, like contractually, it is what it is. You get hurt outside of our facilities, we don't have to take care of you. But we talked a little bit about where you started off and how you play the game early on for your camaraderie and your brother. So you want to stay in shape. You want to stay fit. You want to come back the best. So you're not just going to fall off in the off season. So that's why you're doing it, to come back and be able to compete and put your team in the best position. And then something like this happens where you hurt yourself. And now, you know what? A business is made where if you make too much money, then you're gone. You know, so it sucks, but you know, I've actually been at the short end of that stick before. So, you know, it's kind of the way the game is played, you know. So I just hope he gets the chance to come back and play again, you know, show that he still can do what he can do and play for the money that he's worth, because he had a nice contract, you know, he had a real nice contract. And at the same time, you know, you just can't expect these clubs to just make friends with you, you know, at the end of the day. Like, you're there for a business, and this is the hard part of it right there. That's the part that no player likes. You know, like I don't care who you are, no player, no coach, nobody who like invests the time that you invest in the game, like they don't like that part of it. But it's just a hard fact.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little annoyed with businesses, big businesses, or saying that this is, you know, I'm just starting to get annoyed that this is business. Whatever happened to people caring about people? Whatever happened? And I know this is going on everywhere, and I know this is just what the world is like, and I want to change it, but it will never change. But at the same time, like, I want to believe that my employer really does care about me, because I will work 1,000,000% harder for them if they care about me, while Greg is shaking his head no. And ultimately, I do know I'm just a number, because literally on my paycheck, they pay my number, which is my identification number. I don't have a name. So it's that, but it's just, it bothers me. It really does. Like, be decent to each other and let's treat each other like we're humans. And you guys as players are not just pawns. You're human beings. And I just don't get it. I don't.
Graves, this is the second time today that you could run for a political office with the statements you're making, man.
Sweet.
Hey, I'm telling
Sound
you,
like a good person, man. Matt Skraby for mayor. All right. I mean, I could unload a lot on this one, so I'll give you the abridged version. But one, the NFLPA is flat out wrong. This is not right. What they're doing, and that is coming from a former NFLPA team rep, a guy that's often involved with the NFLPA. I attend all of their workshops, conventions, and all that. I love what they normally do. I'm not on board with this because of the injuries. Like, clearly, I mean, my man lost $10 million because he was cut because he was working out somewhere else. And we all know that. Like, Marcus, you would go play basketball in the offseason, and you knew that if you got hurt playing basketball, they weren't going to pay you. Like, that's just knowledge, and you did it anyway. But my problem is the NFL tried to get everyone to make the NFLPA tried to get everyone to stay away to make a statement. When in reality, that offseason program is huge for guys that need to improve. If you're an all-pro tackle, if you've been to the Pro Bowl like Marcus McNeil, you could probably skip a couple of weeks and everything's going to be all right. But if you're Greg Camarillo trying to make a roster or trying to prove to coaches that you've got the work ethic to make the roster, you need to be there. They're going to make you better football players. You're going to bond with your teammates. You're going to build chemistry with your quarterbacks. You're going to learn more from the coaches. You need to be there in the offseason, and especially if you're a bubble guy. If you've got guaranteed money, then do what you want to do because it doesn't matter what you do as long as you don't get hurt. But I'm a huge fan of the offseason program at NFL facilities, and it's also not that hard. You're there for 3-4 hours a day, and then you get to go home for the rest of the day. You're not asking much. I want to see those guys in the facilities working out.
Go ahead, Marcus.
how much is this like the veterans though, Greg? Like making up the decision.
It is.
Because like the veterans, by the time you're past, your third, fourth year, you might not be trying to catch that offseason workout. You're not trying to catch some OTAs, especially when you get comfortable in the system.
Yep.
And you start to become a veteran. You're not trying to be there. So I think at one point in time, it had to be the veterans pushing for less time at the facilities, just in general, from a physical standpoint. They didn't want to continue to break down their body, go through some of the heavier practices of OTAs, where you're actually out there butting up and hitting and doing things like that in the off season, compared to, what they're doing now. And you don't have to be there as much, but at the same time, you're not in there training as hard. Like I loved the off-season program. Yeah. I didn't even have any bonuses, and I used to still make it there all the time just because I felt like that was a time for you to build your team. Like when everybody's out there working hard. That's really when your team is built in the off-season. It's not built during weeks 1 through week 17 now.
100% agree. And you're right, because by the time I was a team rep, I was probably five-ish years in. Most guys are 5, if not more, years in. And so those guys are speaking from their perspective of, I don't need somebody yelling at me to squat 350 pounds because I'm too old for that, But that's an excellent point, Big Mac.
Yeah, I'm trying to research this real quick, but they just accepted the new CBA, the players, and it's running through 2030. And I remember we had a guest on the talk show one time, and they were saying, I can't remember who, but they were saying, this whole Jawan James thing, this contract issue, it really, if you're really against it as a player, you have to vote, because a lot of the players didn't vote. And so there's not a real representation amongst the players of what people actually feel like. And then I remember someone who was younger, who was speaking out against someone like Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers is making decisions that are going to be in effect well after he's out of the league. And so it doesn't matter to him. And it seems like the NFLPA, and maybe I'm wrong here, but they need an overhaul of maybe the leadership of how it works.
You might be a little wrong, Skraby.
Okay.
And Greg, you might know a little bit more than me, but this isn't a presidential election where everybody comes in and casts their ballots, or you get to choose whether or not you want to cast your ballot. You know, like we have representatives who actually make those decisions for us, and they sit down and talk to us beforehand about the decisions that we want to make. And then collectively as the 32 teams, those representatives come together and talk with the PA. Now, Greg can kind of, you know, let me know if I'm right or wrong in that, but it's not a situation where every single person is coming in like casting a vote on every different subject in the CBA.
Okay, that's good information.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this exact vote went. Normally, that's exactly how Max said. You go to a convention as a team rep and you vote on behalf of your team. And that's how you address normal issues. I'm not sure how this issue was addressed, but it's also not stated as a rule. Like someone can go work out at their facility. They're just trying to build strength in numbers. And if we can get everyone not to do it, then you're creating a bigger statement. But guys are starting to go back. I think, was it the Broncos? Somebody just reported 70 players at their offseason program. So, I mean, this scared
COVID
guys.
alert.
Yeah. I mean, guys are scared. I wouldn't want to lose my money either.
Yeah, and that's also very strange too, because obviously they voted and accepted this. I guess they did during COVID, but still, there's COVID issues. Like you can't, in some states, I think California may be one of them, you can't have a certain number of people indoors still. I know other states are just open. It's the wild, wild west again, but it's yeah, in Florida and all those other stadiums. But it seems a little petty for the Broncos to be like, hey, we're going to cut you and we're going to take all your money away.
Yeah. You know what it was, Scrapes? He's underperforming. And so this is just their chance to get rid of a guy and not pay him his money. If it was someone that was playing well, they would have paid him his money.
Interesting. Well,
call a spade then, Greg.
Yeah, man. That's what it is. He's been hurt twice now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just like, okay, well, shit.
He took the COVID protocol too. Then he opt out. Well, the COVID opt out.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, my man hasn't played at all, if let alone well. And so go ask Marcus's wife. She'll give you the legal perspective. Yep. Cut him. Yeah. Yeah. We don't need to go through the official jargon. We just got all the good information. So that's what's going on with the NFLPA. Last topic we have tonight is the schedule is out. And I don't know how about you guys feel, but as a fan, first thing I look for is my 49ers and where are they playing, when's their bye week, and who are they playing at the end of the season. I love a good snow game. I would like to see a snow game to happen. It doesn't matter to me because I'm watching it in the comfort of my home, but I don't like that the 49ers have a week like 6 bye, and then they have to go 12 straight weeks with a game. And then unless they get the number 1 seed, they're going straight into the playoffs. And I know that they collectively bargained this and they voted for it for the 17 games, but it seems a little crazy to me. And it's not about the 49ers. What I wanted to get from you guys is, I know you're not a huge fan of the 17 regular season games, but what do you think about the actual schedule release as players? Like, do you go and immediately look at your schedule? Or do you call your friends, your teammates? Oh man, we got to go to New England in week 17, something like that. I do the exact opposite of you, Skraby. I look for snow games and then I cry. Don't send me to Cleveland in December. I don't want to go to Foxborough in December because that sucks.
Because that sucks.
Hey, you 1K with that one, Greg, for real. Like you looking at November, December, like, Lord, don't end me up. Green Bay, places like that. You know what I'm saying? Even Chicago gets windy, gets threatening at the end of the year. So you're not trying to end up in no place like that. But if you see like a Miami on your schedule, San Diego used to be a time everybody used to vacation to. Yep. December, like you would see a lot of the East Coast teams, like we play like somebody like the Jets or New England. You'll see a lot of their fans travel out in December just to get away from the cold. So you got to look for those cold games. And then like to me, I was always looking to see like if I had a certain player on my schedule, like that. That's what the schedule came down for me. And then like Indianapolis, you know what I'm saying? If I knew we had the wife, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna circle this motherfucker right here and make sure that make
Good
sure
sleep
I bring
going into that week.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay well rested, hydrated. I'm gonna probably pull back a little bit from the scene and make sure I bring my lunch pail, that weekend. But other than that, most of the time, you're trying to check for the code, whatever players that you respect, and you seeing if you play them, and then like when that bye week is, so that you can start planning early.
Yeah, Scrape. So I did the same as you with that bye week. Just like Marcus mentioned, I looked at Miami's schedule, and they got a week 14 bye week, and that is an aggressive amount of football to play.
13 straight weeks.
Oh man, that's a lot of football. I mean, they're going to crawl into week 14 bye. The only good thing is that you got a short stretch after that. But back to the schedule release. I know I'm changing topics here.
You're good.
I really did not like the slow play schedule release.
Oh my gosh, thank you for saying that.
Bit that thing out. Tell me all of it. Don't give me this little snippet. I don't care week one. Oh man, throw the whole schedule out there.
Yeah, I'm really over the NFL and their constant dramatic release of everything.
Bro, they got to keep up with the housewives. They got to keep up, man.
I get it. You know what? And we talked about it on the show. The Padres are in first place right now, or at least close to first place, and we're on the home of the Padres, and we're talking about the NFL schedule and the bye weeks on the Padres off day. That's crazy. I mean, but it's interesting stuff to talk about. But I'm with you. I miss the days where they just would give me the schedule. I'm okay with the 1 a.m, because then it kind of gets you a little excited about, okay, well, the rest of it's coming out. And then they do the whole slow play thing where it's like an hour and a half on TV. And I'm like, all right, I'm over this already. I just want to see the damn schedule.
I will say, like, the one game that stuck out of me on the early schedule was the Baltimore versus KC. Like, early. Like, that's going to be a good game, I want to see that early on in the season. And when you got games like that, that's what people tune in for. Like, you want to see those types of games early on in the year. And then also, I would say Tampa Bay versus Dallas week 1. That's going to be a good one. You always want to put the litmus test on Jerry Jones and the Cowboys in week 1. And no better way to do it than with Tampa Bay. Like, how good are y'all going to be this year? And I promise you, if they win, they're going to feel like the Super Bowl, and then we'll see how it goes from there. But if they lose, it's like, how long is it going to take for Jared to get it right? So Cowboys having a good early in the year, I think that's good football for everybody, for the fans, and just the league in general.
Yeah, and I know week 4 is the week that Brady heads home to New England. And it's going to be Sunday Night Football. It's going to be awesome. I don't know what to expect from the fans. Like, there's bets. You can make bets. Are they going to boo him? Or
they love Tom. Tom's a guy.
I don't know. A lot of my Patriots fan friends said that last year with him going to Tampa really put a little salt in their game, because Tom Brady could have done that with New England if he wanted to.
No, they love him. They love Tom.
You think they're just going to give him a standing O?
They're going to give him
standing.
They're going to give him whatever he wants. They'll give
even though his dad went on a radio station and said that Tampa Bay is going to crush New England.
I mean, that's Mr. Brady. They're going to love him. Hey, we'll jump into this more in the next podcast, but y'all got me thinking about predictions for this next year, and especially with Big Mac. So I love what the Ravens did drafting a receiver in the first round, because I think that's the difference in Lamar becoming a thrower. So I'm really interested to see that. And then the other one is, for like a month now, I've been trying to convince myself that Jameis Winston is going to become a franchise quarterback. And I'm not able to do it, but I'm still trying. So maybe I'll get to it soon.
I mean, the Saints, they don't have the same. When I see them on a primetime schedule now, I'm just kind of like, whatever. Like before, Saints, Drew Brees,
That's why I'm trying to convince myself that this is Jameis's year, but that's a hard sell.
Just pick a new team, Greg. Don't even convince You got
Tua. It's Tua time.
What do you think about Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase up there?
That's a good one.
It's a couple of quarterbacks that got their number 1 receivers out of college playing with them now. I think that it's going to be kind of fun to watch. You know, Jamar, I don't know if you guys know much about Chase, but he set out all last year, you know.
Dude's a monster too.
Yeah. Like, and still went top 5.
Yeah.
You know, so whenever you can do that, you know he's a player. So to have like Joe coming back off of a year to see how he's going to play with a quarterback like that. And then to be honest, I like Trevor Lawrence and ETN out there, you know, down there in Jacksonville. Like it seems like they have a lot of players that they're used to. And I remember wanting that, you know what I'm saying, coming into like a new program. Like I wanted to be there with a guy who I knew, you know what I'm saying, we had the same level of drive and goals and stuff like that. So to see a couple of these teams, even down there in Miami with you, Tua got his boys too now. So, you know, so I think it's going to give some of these young quarterbacks a chance to shine. And I'm going to be interested to see. And I wouldn't be surprised if we had some new people pushing for league MVPs. I wouldn't be surprised if we had some more breakout years from some young wide receivers as well.
2 more really quick topics for me. I did not like the Trey Lance pick for the 49ers. Not a fan of Trey Lance. Well, where they were. I can't say I'm not a fan of Trey Lance. I'm going to give him a shot. I really am. But for picking him 3 and moving all the way up to 3, it didn't really make sense to me because I really wanted Justin Fields. And now he's with the
I did like the smoke screen they threw out there with the Mac Jones getting
that's messed up, by the way.
Oh, I love it. They played it so smooth. They had everybody, all the talking heads thinking Mac Jones, Mac Jones, Mac Jones. And then it wasn't Mac Jones, which everyone's talking about now he's going to save New England, which is trash. But
how did that narrative change?
But I love the fact that they were able to hide behind the Mac Jones screen and get the guy they wanted.
Yeah. Well, I didn't love that because I really wanted Justin Fields. I thought there's no way they traded up to 3 because he's not going to be there by the time they get to 5 or 6 or whatever they were. And we'll see what's happened with Trey Lance. I mean, the media is already going crazy in San Francisco. I saw a video of him throwing a ball. It was like a warm-up throw, and they're like, the ball, just look how natural the ball releases off of his hand. I'm like, they're warming up, bro. They're warming up. The other thing I really love, and this is quick too, is I'm starting to take a turn on Dan Campbell I like him, the Lions head coach, because he's so crazy that I don't know if you guys heard this, but he was on a podcast and he said that he proposed to the Lions to legitimately get a pet lion that he could walk around with so that he could on a chain so that like whenever he said he would just be like walking around, he'd go over to the kickers and he would just be sitting there with his lion while the kicker's doing his thing. And I kind of love that. I do, because it's hilarious and it's ridiculous. And you don't expect an NFL head coach to say that, but he thought about this in his head for quite a long time about getting a lion, and the lion said no, but they tweeted some pictures and photoshopped of a lion on the field with him, and it looked pretty sweet. I gotta say, it looked pretty sweet.
So based on their draft class, they went offensive line, defensive line, which is a great way to build a foundation, but it's not going to relate to winning right now.
What about the lion?
That's the slow play. Oh, I mean,
I don't care about their draft. I want to hear about the lion.
He's watching too much of what was the fucking
Tiger King. That's what he was watching.
Tiger on Netflix,
Did y'all see the tiger loose in Houston running around the neighborhood?
Yes.
Oh yeah. What the?
I would never leave the house ever again.
Like, why are you standing there with a pistol in front of a tiger? Just go inside. Like, let somebody else handle that.
I'm not confronting that tiger. I'm not leaving the car.
Like, this is your chance. You trying to
zero chance.
Neighborhood, huh? Like
zero chance. Zero chance. I'm ever coming near that tiger. I'm not even feeling safe in my car.
No, I'm moving for a week until that tiger's
You're moving. You're going to a hotel.
Yeah, I'm gone, man. I'm not taking my chances with a tiger.
But so that's what we'll do next time. We'll get into some of the previews of what's going on around the NFL, but we're out of time for tonight. So good catching up with you guys again, and hope all you listeners out there not appreciated. We know you appreciate it, but hope you learned something tonight. Hope you had some fun. And we'll be back with you, I don't know, in a couple weeks. We're going to start ramping this thing back up slowly as the season comes a little bit closer. And before we know it, we're going to be talking about Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Dallas Cowboys in week 1 of the NFL season. So this is Two Pros and a Joe. We got Marcus McNeil at Marcus McNeil 73. We got Catch Camarillo, which is Greg Camarillo. He's at Catch Camarillo. At Matt Skraby for me, and for us at Two Pros and a Joe, the number 2 Pros and a Joe on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Please tell your friends, please keep listening, and please reach out to us. We love hearing from you. I love hearing from fans and what they have to say about the podcast. So appreciate everything. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. No Tom Brady jokes to end the podcast today.
Oh my God. Hey, Scrape. I know this might sound crazy, right? But my dog's name is Hamilton Paddington Bear.
Okay.
So one of my daughter's favorite shows is like Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
And all I can think about is like, you to me look like a grown-up Christopher Robin.
I don't know anything about Christopher Robin.
Why was this not on air?
Oh, it still is.
I'm Googling it.
I swear to God, if I could see the picture of Christopher Robin like as a grown man, like you're him.
Is Christopher Robin a depressed man?
No, that's no. You're talking about.
Oh, that's Eeyore. Oh, Ewan McGregor was Christopher Robin in the Christopher Robin movie. Oh man, that Winnie the Pooh live action, that looks real creepy.
I'm not talking about the live. I haven't seen the live action. I'm talking about the cartoon. Okay. So
I see him.
Oh, that's funny.
You know, it's not the craziest comparison. Honestly, just give him a little bit of a beard.
Scraby, you're supposed to respond and say, "Would you think all white people look alike?"
No, I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
You're supposed to say.
Yeah. But
bro,
all right,
famous,
guys.
Bro. You famous, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, famous for wrong reasons. All right, guys. Until next
Continue,
time.
Jess.